I'm going to start by saying that I'm sure there are many other politicians who have done things that are questionable or a violation of ethics or even federal election rules. But with Ocasio-Cortez and her increased profile and the influence she gains from that comes increased scrutiny. Following accusations that they may have illegally or in violation of federal election rules, I don't know whether you'd classify it as illegal or ethics violation or whatever, it is believed that Cortez paid her boyfriend in less than ethical means. I'll put it that way. Generally, the story is that her boyfriend was living in Arizona, got a job. Okay, so Saikat Chakrabarty is Cortez's chief of staff. He steps down from this organization. About a week later, they cut a check for $3,000 to her boyfriend. And then that was the beginning of August. At the end of September, they cut him another check for $3,000. He then, at some point after that, within the next couple of months or so, moves to New York to be with Ocasio-Cortez. That's my understanding. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Because I believe it's a Vogue article. I did a big video about it where it says that her boyfriend moved from Arizona to be with her. Saikat Chakrabarty, her chief of staff, issued a statement on Medium saying he moved sometime in late 2017, which could be beginning of October. And it sounds like to a lot of people that a political action committee gave $6,000 to her boyfriend so that he could move in with her. And I guess the accusation you could say is she's indirectly benefiting from this contribution from this PAC, by having someone offset her costs and live with her, or just personally benefiting by getting, her significant other to move with her. It may, they claim that her boyfriend, Riley, I think his name's Riley Roberts. They claim that he was a really good marketing guy or whatever, though Vogue claims he works in web development. There's maybe some overlap there. But we'll just read the story. So from the Daily Wire, Ocasio-Cortez has been hit with complaint alleging she laundered money to her boyfriend. The Coolidge-Reagan Foundation filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission on Wednesday alleging that Socialist Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez may have illegally funneled money to her boyfriend through an allied PAC. Fox News reports the group alleges in their complaint that when the Brand New Congress PAC, a political arm of Brand New Congress LLC, a company that was hired by Ocasio-Cortez to run and support her campaign, paid Roberts for marketing services, it potentially ran afoul of campaign finance law. The complaint highlighted a report from earlier in February by Luke Thompson, who published an article entitled "The Congresswoman Loves the Swamp. Her wealthy chief of staff used a PAC to pay her boyfriend" on Medium, which parses FEC records to reveal evidence Ocasio-Cortez funneled money from her official campaign account to her boyfriend, Riley Roberts. And that's a quote. The complaint added, "The timing and amounts of these transactions, the use of two affiliate entities as intermediaries, the vague and amorphous nature of the services Riley ostensibly provided, the magnitude of these transactions compared to both the limited funds the campaign had raised at the time and the total amounts of its expenditures, and the romantic relationship between Ocasio-Cortez and Riley collectively establish reason to believe these transactions may have violated campaign finance law." Now, one of the arguments made by Saikat to defend himself is that, first of all, this is the swamp, okay? You've got an LLC, you've got a PAC, you've got the candidate, and then you've got the PAC, the LLC, which she hired, which indirectly is supported by this political action committee, who then hires her boyfriend. You see how this works, this circuitous money exchange? Now, what Saikat said is money between the and I'm trying to make sure I get this correctly. I could be wrong. I always want to preface that. He said that money from the LLC and the PAC, there was never an exchange, right? So the idea is, his claim, even though Ocasio-Cortez paid the LLC never gave money to the PAC. Therefore, when the PAC gives money to Riley, it in no way came from Cortez. Now, let me try and explain something for you. If I have $10,000 and I take $5,000 and $5,000 and I give one to my brother and one to my sister, right? They now have this money. I can then say to my sister, here's what happens. Bob pays my brother $5,000. I then look to my sister and say, now give $5,000 to my girlfriend. And I can say, oh, no, that money from Bob went to my brother, not to my girlfriend. You see how that works? Maybe that was too complicated, but generally, I guess the idea you could say is Saikat is connected to both organizations. He has a leadership role in both. Just because there was no direct exchange between the PAC and the LLC doesn't mean that it wasn't an exchange as a favor, right? So we'll read on here because they have some of the complaint. The Coolidge-Reagan Foundation noted in the complaint the following two campaign and finance laws they believe are pertinent to the allegations. 52 U.S.C. 3011 4B1 provides campaign contributions shall not be converted by any person to personal use. And then 52 U.S.C. 30104 B6 provides an unauthorized committee must report the name and address of each person who has received any disbursement not disclosed as an expenditure if it totals more than $200 within an election cycle. They add, in reference to the first, Ocasio-Cortez converted official funds raised through contributions to her candidate committee to personal use by transferring a total of $6,191.32 from her campaign committee to Brand New Congress PAC in late August and September 2017, which contemporaneously and had its affiliate, LLC, pay $6,000 to her boyfriend, Riley. On information and belief, the amount paid to Riley was either not provided as consideration for bona fide services or exceeded the fair market value of any legitimate services Riley provided. On information and belief, the true intent of the payment to Riley was to provide personal benefit to a boyfriend rather than defray bona fide campaign expenses. And there's a lot more here. So they say in reference to 52 3014 B6, the complaint stated, in an attempt to mask the payment of official campaign funds to her boyfriend, Ocasio-Cortez instead laundered them through intermediaries, Brand New Congress PAC and Brand New Congress LLC. Ocasio-Cortez incorrectly reported a payment of $6,191.32 to Brand New Congress LLC on August 27, 2017 for strategic consulting, rather than correctly characterizing the underlying payment of $6,000 to Robert Riley. Robert Riley, that was his name. I called him Riley Roberts. When the allegations first surfaced, Ocasio-Cortez responded on Twitter, writing, "The conspiracy machine is in full effect, and it's been disappointing to watch professionals get duped, amplify unvetted medium posts as truth, treating journalism like it's a high school live journal rumor mill or something. No, I don't shadily pay my boyfriend." I'm not sure if shadily is a word. And so there's actually a little bit more here. So look, I'm going to say it one more time. I don't think Cortez is unique in this manner. I think this is the swamp. But we have another really interesting point being brought up by the Washington Examiner a few days ago. It was reported that Cortez was going to guarantee a living wage to all of her staff, meaning a minimum of $52,000 per year. That's actually not a living wage for D.C. I don't know what DC's living wage is, but I know that the median considered living wage is around $77,000. At least it was several years ago, so it's probably higher than that. But interesting. So I'm not going to fault her for restrictions on her budget. If she wants to pay her staff $52,000, I commend her for it. However, this also means she's putting a restriction, a cap, that no one in her staff will earn more than $80,000. This has drawn some more scrutiny because people are concerned that Saikat Chakrabarty, who is her chief of staff, who is a particularly wealthy individual, that's my understanding, because he is now only receiving 80 and not the fair market value 140. I think they have it in here. It's like $142,000, 147. Because he is receiving less than around 120, they are not required to disclose external sources of income. So anybody apparently, in this sector, if they earn a certain amount of money, which is over somewhere in like 120,000 or 126,000 right here, they have to publicly disclose. They must submit a public financial disclosure form that details outside income they earn, stock investments, debt, and gifts or paid trips that they are given by outside sources. So that's going to include also congressional employees. I'm assuming Cortez will have to do that as well. But that means Saikat essentially, so they're arguing that because of this, Saikat won't be disclosing publicly where his money comes from, and he's a wealthy individual. And he probably should, especially if he's working in politics. People are saying, you know what? He should voluntarily do this. He's not required to by law. They're not necessarily doing anything wrong, but people are getting suspicious. I will say, I'm not going to fault Cortez for giving her staff a decent amount of money. No, I actually like what she's doing here. Giving her staff 52 grand is going to be a weight off the shoulders of all new incoming congressional staff, especially considering how expensive DC is. So I commend her for that. But I would say following this, that cap does give plausible deniability to Saikat Chakrabarty to say, oh, well, I'm not required to do this. I'm not going to if I don't have to. And he's a wealthy individual. And that's disconcerting her chief of staff, right? At the same time, again, not a legal issue, but grains of sand in a heap. I am of the opinion, okay, and I know it's going to be so annoying when the left is like, oh, she's not doing anything wrong. She didn't launder money to her boyfriend. Don't pay your boyfriend. Don't hire your boyfriend when you're running for Congress, period. Don't have your friends hire your boyfriend when you're running from Congress. Avoid the swamp. Even if she has done nothing wrong here, okay, because I don't know. Let's say this was a legitimate payment for services, although it's very convenient that Psycat steps down. The company just decides to hire her boyfriend. They pay him $6,000, and then he basically just right after that moves in with Cortez. Alarm bells, red flags. I'm not going to accuse her of anything. I'm just going to say this. You want to avoid these accusations. You want to avoid the swamp. You want to get away from the DC swamp. Why would you hire your boyfriend? Why would her boyfriend take a job? Listen. Okay, Cortez can say, "Oh, I didn't coordinate." Let's think about this. Do you think? Okay, the LLC just decided to hire her boyfriend. That's what they're claiming. You think Cortez didn't know this? You think she wasn't talking to her boyfriend and he didn't go, "Oh, hey, by the way, the political action committee that's was formerly run by the dude propped up your campaign and is now going to become your chief of staff. Yeah, they're going to hire me and pay me $6,000 and then I can move in with you." You think they weren't talking about it? That's the big problem. Cortez is the swamp. And you know what? It gets worse. The story I'm working on for later today, I really despise talking about this woman. And it's the same for Trump. I don't like talking about him either. But I'm not going to give Trump a pass. And I always have to say this. But listen, there was a story about, I think it was the State Department website or something in the UK was advertising a Trump hotel. Yes, I talked about these things when they happen, all right? I'm not going to sit here and talk about Trump all day, 24/7. When CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they do it all day, all night, all right? I'm going to focus on the other more prevalent and high-profile individual who has now had an FEC violation, a complaint over a potential violation filed against her. And I'm going to lean more towards, I'm pretty sure she talks to her boyfriend. I'm pretty sure her boyfriend told her that political action committee where Psycat worked, he just resigned and now they're hiring me. That's not alarm bells to you, Cortez, to be like, nah, but you probably shouldn't do that. That looks suspicious. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Let's see what happens. But stick around at 4 p.m. on my main channel today. We've got a much bigger story. The rift between the Democrats, the far left, it's getting bad. It is. Because there's now a breakaway group of moderate Democrats, and they're being threatened by Cortez, even though Cortez herself has broken from the main party of the Democrats anyway. This is getting crazy, and it looks like the Democrats are falling apart. Stick around. I'll have another video on this channel at 1 p.m. And then that video will be 4 p.m. youtube.com/Timcast.